going to have an exciting show. We're going to talk about
Gotta press this. On today's special producer episode of the 1-0 Sports Show, we talk NFL Draft, NBA and NHL playoffs, and so much Texas athletics. We're also reminisce about our favorite moments as 1-0 executive producers and our time in TSTV. Don't go away. The 1-0 Sports Show is coming up right after this.
We're going to have an exciting show. We're going to talk about the NFL divisional round and what we expect from it. We talk about Texas's inconsistent start in Big 12 play for men's basketball. We'll finish with some talk about our women's basketball team. So we got a packed show today.
I got to go the other way. You know, Texas A&M, they got a lot of identity issues. Are they an agricultural school? Are they military? Are they blue collar? Are they academics? They're all over the place. So
now, I'm always a sucker for a one-handed catch. I have tiny hands. I need 3 of them just to catch a football. So this one-handed grab in the end zone, that's just super impressive in my eyes. That's going to be my play of the week.
Mayo pour on college game day. Look at this. Just the guy and the North Carolina, South Carolina game. He's just straight eating it, shirt off, rubbing it on his body.
Hey, listen, the Cinderella story ends here, Texans. I'm sorry, man. The chariots turns back into the pumpkin. It struck midnight. Whatever you want to say. I think it ends here.
All right, and welcome to the 1-0 Sports Show on our special producer show. I'm Tyler Strimple. He's Santiago Ortiz. And before we start today, we want to say that today's show is brought to you by Cap Metro, Austin's transit system. We connect you to work, school, play, and everywhere in between. Plan your ride to this weekend's game at capmetro.org. All right, producer show, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. You know what? I think this is like the biggest moment of my entire life. 2 years of my life have culminated up into this moment. Yeah, you know, it's been great to be the 1-0 executive producer for 2 years and be on the show for a year, so I'm going to put all of my knowledge into one last performance. This is like Kobe. I'm going for 60 points in my last game.
Let's do it.
R.I.P.
Rest in...
Anyways.
All right, so we're going to get into our first segment of the show. We've got Who's Hot and Who's Not. And Santi, who's hot for you right now?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Munetaka Murakami for the Chicago White Sox. Now, he was a Japanese player that was drafted, and in the World Baseball Classic, Shohei Ohtani kind of gave him some technique, and ever since then, he's been going off. So he hit 5 consecutive home runs in 5 consecutive, or he hit 5 home runs in 5 games. He becomes the 3rd Japanese player to ever do that, and this summer, when he came here from Japan, he was doubted by a lot of people, specifically MLB scouts said that he was not going to be able to hit the fastball, and he takes this one fastball inside for 456 feet over the batter's eye in Oakland. This guy's really come onto the scene with a splash early for the White Sox. It's been cool to see for a team that's struggling so hard. For them to finally get a premier player like that has been awesome. So Munetaka Murakami is extremely hot for the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, he's been awesome all year. He's become like the American League Shohei in terms of home run hitting. It's been really, really cool to watch. I'm going to go, and this hurts my heart, and I'm sorry, Mike, I don't like this, with LeBron James for the Los Angeles Lakers, who in this playoff series against my Houston Rockets has been looking like prime Magic Johnson. It is insane what he's been able to do. I mean, the whole Lakers team is just able to shut the Rockets down in a series that they were heavily favored in.
Yeah.
Ever since we heard that Luka wouldn't be playing, and it's just LeBron somehow he ages and then stuff happens and he's still the best. I don't know how it's possible, and I'm so angry about it. We finally got rid of the Warriors, and now the Lakers are here, and it's just why do we have to do this again?
Well, yeah, I mean, with LeBron, it is cool to see, like, with no Luka and no Austin Reeves.
It's not cool to see it.
Well,
I don't want it. Any other team, I'd be okay with it.
I can hashtag appreciate greatness, and it's cool to see, like, after all this time, you know, he's kind of in his career. He doesn't play back-to-backs. He doesn't play every single home game, and it's cool to see him take over as the #1 option, kind of like he did in 2018, really just putting the team on his back. So let's keep talking about this series. So for my Who's Not Hot, I'm going to go with Alfred Sengun. Now, we actually have footage of Sengun getting back on defense, if we could roll it. This is a live look at Alfred Sengun getting back on defense. So anyways, he's just been atrocious this series. Offense, defense, he's not giving a lot of hustle, and specifically this pump fake right here was just so weak. It looks like he's very just nonchalant out there. He doesn't know what he's doing, and I think specifically for him, the offense was supposed to flow through him, especially in Game 1 without KD. That was supposed to be his game to take over, and he couldn't do it. And then in Game 2, it was just a sight for sore eyes if you're a Rockets fan. So many missed shots in the post, and really I think the shot selection for him is what's really irked me the most. He's getting double-teamed, trying to shoot one-handed hooks, and that's not his game. And he can facilitate and do a lot of other things better, and he's just been really awful. I really hope he can turn it around for the Rockets, or else we're going to be getting swept by the Lakers.
So do I, because that's my absolute worst nightmare. I mean, I also have to go with the Rockets. As a Houston sports fan, this is normal but still depressing. He's like Alperen Sengun is like the anti-LeBron. The lights get bright and he gets dim, and it's just the entire team. They've forgotten what makes the Rockets basketball this year, which is tempo. It's not too big a ball. It's tempo. It's defense, and they don't do any of it. They are playing like Looney Tunes characters. It's not fun to watch. I didn't put a VO up here because I don't want to subject you to what I have to go through.
Can we roll the Alfred Sengun game back on defense?
Roll it back.
One more time,
Roll it
please.
back.
I just wanted to witness. It's okay if we can't, but one more time. Alfred Sengun, live look at him getting back on defense. So, all right, moving on. Let's get away from the hardwood and let's talk about last night. We had the NFL draft. So there was a lot of interesting picks, including, obviously, we're going to talk about later, the pick that the Rams made at number 13, but even some picks like Mekhi Lemon at number 20, which was a little weird of a situation. Pittsburgh selected him, and then the Eagles traded for him the same minute. But who was your favorite pick of the first round?
There's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of questionable ones, but I mean, it's hard not to say, for me, it's hard not to say Mendoza because, they need a quarterback, and that's, the right pick.
He's the perfect.
I'm going to say this, and this hurts my heart. I'm going to go with kind of a pick situation here. Kansas City Chiefs traded with the Cleveland Browns to get pick number 6. The Browns, in return, got number 9 and a couple other picks. The Browns were smart, and I don't know how it happened, because they ended up getting the person they already wanted. I believe it was, who was it? Shoot, I forgot.
Anyways,
they got Spencer Fano, the offensive tackle from Utah, which I was, I was kind of hoping that
he was the premier offensive lineman coming out of the draft.
And we talked about in the NFL mock draft on College Press Box that that's who the Browns need to get to protect Shedeur Sanders, to get the run game going again. They need a premier offensive tackle, and they got their guy who they would have gotten at 6 and got picks out of it. That's my favorite move and pick of the draft. I think that was just really good finessing. The Chiefs didn't have to trade up. Mansour Lane would have been available at 9. I think they jumped the gun on that. So I would say Spencer Fano after the pick trade.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Caleb Downs to the Cowboys. So I know this is a pick that Gabriel is very excited about. I think Caleb Downs is a very cerebral player, and we saw 3 years of absolute class and perfection from him in the college game. I don't think that this pick can go wrong for the Cowboys. I think he's going to be a really solid. And speaking of the mock draft, I mean, we talked about in the mock draft how the Cowboys haven't historically had good play from the safety. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And I always think it's cool when premier players come to Texas. I always like that. So let's move on to maybe not your favorite picks of all time. Obviously, there's going to be one that we'll talk about, but what were some surprises from the NFL draft for you, Tyler?
There were some surprises. I think. Now, I've heard that this wasn't really a surprise to some people. I think Jeremiah Love to the Cardinals was somewhat of a surprise because that's not. I think you have to be a good team to have the luxury of having a running back duo. They're not a good team. They have no defense. I'd say Cardinal Tate to the Titans was a somewhat surprise because that's not. I mean, the wide receiver core isn't great, but it's serviceable for Cam Ward. You need a defense. That's not the right pick. So there are definitely some picks that were surprising. The fact that teams went best available when what was best available was a position they already have filled. And I think that's the wrong move. I think over depth in one position when other positions are complete garbage is not how you're going to win. The Cardinals absolutely made the wrong pick. I will die on this hill. Jeremiah Love might be an NFL legend. I fully believe that. But they're going to waste his career. They're going to pull a J.J. Watt and waste his career because they're not going to have a defense to back him up.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I mean, obviously, we could sit here and talk about Ty Simpson, who is definitely the biggest surprise. Like, we do need to mention that. Ty Simpson going number 13.
I would argue Jeremiah Love was a bigger surprise than Ty Simpson.
Yeah, so I had a friend who's a Cardinals fan. He had been kind of sending me some stuff. Like, I think a lot of people had predicted this just because of the mock drafts, those people talk.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Tyler. I think that they need specifically defense. I mean, when you look at the bottom barrel teams in the NFL currently, a lot of them struggle with the defense. You think of teams like the Cardinals, the Saints, the Titans. Those teams are just the ones that's going to help get you off of the ground when you're at that starting point. You need something to back you. And I think they also could have traded down, honestly, and gotten 100%. Him. I think they could have even traded with a team like at number 5 or number 6 and still gotten him. I agree that Carnell Tate was also surprising. I just don't think that the route running ability is there for him to be a wide receiver 1. And the Titans don't have a great history of drafting first rounders. Shout out Treylon Burks. But We have to talk about Ty Simpson. I mean, that's definitely the biggest surprise. I didn't think he was going to get drafted in the first round at all, much less I really don't think that he's going to be able to be the next guy to replace Matthew Stafford. Those are some big shoes to fill, and I think what's really alarming for me is that in college he only played 15 games, just a small sample size, and towards the end of his sample size, it seems like teams really had him figured out. So I don't know how it's going to work in the NFL, but I will say that I trust Sean McVay, and he's a great coach.
Sean McVay's a great coach. That front office does a lot of good things. And I was thinking about it last night while I was watching it. The Rams were at pick 13. They almost went to the Super Bowl. So it's not like they're in a position where they have a need in a position that they need to fill to win a Super Bowl. They could right now win a Super Bowl immediately without an NFL draft, and I fully believe that. So at pick 13, when you have no position of need and you have the ability to get someone he has talent, I think he could absolutely be the next guy. I kind of get the rationale there. It's surprising. At 13, it's surprising. But with the Rams, I mean, what do you have to lose?
Yeah. All right, well, let's move back over to hardwood. Let's talk about some NBA playoffs. So recently the Thunder have been in a series against the Suns, and the refereeing has been kind of atrocious. So we saw specifically Devin Booker. We have Chet Holmgren flopping all over the ground here, but we saw specifically Devin Booker, who got a technical foul for passing the ball, trying to save it from going out of bounds. All he does is just, casual play. You see basketball players throwing it at the other team to try and save it all the time. And then Alex Caruso comes over here and demands that the referees give him a tech, and of course they give it to him, and then it's free throws from Shea from there. So what do you think about the Thunder's whistle? Is this something that NFL or NBA fans are just making up, or is it really getting out of hand?
I think that there's been an issue with the refereeing. I mean, really in every sport, but with the NBA off and on for years. I'm not one to believe in refereeing conspiracy theories. I think sometimes the referees are just really terrible at their job, and refereeing unions just have too much power. But in this situation with this series, there have been so many egregious calls that it's hard for me not to believe that the NBA is like, ooh, look at this small market team doing so well. Let's knock Phoenix out, right? And also, I don't know. I think it's getting a little out of hand in terms of the fact that the referees are so egregious. I get why NBA fans are feeling like this is becoming sort of fixed in a way. I would feel the same way too. I also hate the Thunder. I don't like them.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think it's getting out of hand. Obviously, it was a problem last year, and last year they won the entire championship. So credit to them. You can't say anything about that. But I think that just the whistle that they get on a night-to-night basis is so different. And when you see fans, coaches, players, we had Devin Booker saying that people are going to start thinking the NBA is WWE because it's so scripted with this ref. And when you have all those people in the equation all saying that the Thunder are getting preferential treatment with their officiating, I think it's an issue that the NBA needs to tackle. But all right, that was good. Good A block. Solid start to the last one, Joe. So we'll have our B block coming up, our classic versus segment. You're not going to want to miss it. Welcome back to the 1-0 Sports Show. We're here with our special guest, Georgie Ruiz. Now, some people may remember, but this is the lineup that was on the air during the 2025 Super Bowl special when our chat was rated by around 120 people who started just spamming egregious things in the group chat. Some may not remember, but this was the specific lineup.
Oh, this was
Specifically the same seating order and everything.
Such things said as anything involving me and oil. Yeah.
Well, it was a good time. So
Nothing like a TSTV party, guys.
yeah, glad for our producer show that we could have someone who's a classic, always appears on the 1-0 Sports Show. Georgie, how are you doing
Just
this
called
morning?
I am, okay, we're all old at this point, but I'm doing fantastic. Yeah, some of the best times were definitely with this little lineup right here. So I'm excited to be back and excited to, find a show.
All right, let's do it for one more time. So, Georgie, we have our verses. We each present picks to you. We prepared them. We have some good highlights this week, and you're going to judge it. So, let's start off with the best NBA play. Tyler, how about you start us off?
Yeah, I'm going to go with, this is Nuggets Timberwolves. We've got... Ooh, kind of missed it. So we've got Gobert, and then whoops, it's Randall, and there's a dunk. Postered, whoever that is. Just a little. It looks like Gobert is about to get blocked, and just oop. No thanks. And then Julius Randle slams it down in there. I love a good slam dunk in a playoff series. I think it just sets the tone.
No look pass, low-key, from Rudy Gobert, too.
Okay.
Let's also talk about, hey, Rudy Gobert, he's commonly kind of made fun of. He's kind of one of the jokes of the NBA, but the guy's a good player. He's a consistent all-star. He's always there. He's kind of honestly
good on defense. I like the nickname I heard when I was watching this. It was Gobert Report. I like that nickname, the Gobert Report.
Well, anyways, okay, so I'm going to go with, speaking of classics, speaking of timelessness, speaking of people who are always reliable, I'm going to go with LeBron James with his windmill dunk against the Rockets on Tuesday night. Now, this is explosive stuff. This reminds me of those early Cavs days, those Miami Heat days. Takes it behind the back, cradles it with the finish. That was so impressive to me. And to see LeBron getting up there like that, I mean, a couple years ago, he got mad at Austin Reeves for throwing him a lob. He was like, I don't get up there anymore. So, always good to see the King doing King stuff. That was my NBA play of the week.
And see, I love me some basketball. It's my favorite sport to watch, and especially with some fire dunks. The no-look, got to give it to him. But for LeBron James to be, I'm never the one to just hop on the train, but for him to be 41 and still just pulling that out, like, it really does. It is.
Rudy Gobert had COVID.
You're right. I was like, wait, you're right. But it's like, it was like Aaron, like you said, like, I did see that, and someone was talking about that in an interview, how he, like, doesn't want to be flashy like that. So I think it's kind of cool, especially for those older fans, to kind of see that and kind of, like, just be a little reminiscent, like, oh, like, it looks like he's, like, 25 right here, too.
Yeah, sure.
So I do appreciate both of them. I love basketball, so this one was kind of hard to pick. But I'm going to have to give this one to Santi. I'm sorry. But
all right, well,
next.
I'm 1-0. 1-0 to start off. So we'll go to the best MLB play of the week. Tyler, do you want to start this one? Or
I'll start this one off.
Okay.
Actually, no, you start this one off.
All right, well, I'll start this one off. All right, so I'm going to go with O'Neal Cruz, the Cuban Missile. Lights up his own Cuban Missile. Home run down the right side off the top of the foul pole. Now, we're going to need an instant replay here, but this thing moves up on the top of the Chick-fil-A chicken foul pole. What I love about baseball is that you can watch baseball for 100 years, and every single game, there's a possibility that you might see something that you've never seen before. So it goes up here off the top of the foul pole. That means it's fair. That's a home run. He hit that ball 116 miles an hour off the bat. O'Neal Cruz having a hell of a season. That was my play of the week.
No, you never really see those. Like, when you don't
That's what I love about
those.
baseball. I mean, there's no other sport that just consistently has things that you've never seen before in the sport.
True.
He's a good home run hitter. He hits with power. That was sheer luck. That should have been a foul ball.
Okay.
That's not skill.
It was 5 feet
not
fair.
Skill. That's okay. 5 feet fair. I'm 5'9". That's not that much. Like,
One
that's
Tyler
not
Fair. I
skill.
feel like that's a good amount.
It's a Tyler Fair.
I'm not 5 feet.
It's like smoots. You don't know the unit of measurement, smoots.
Oh
Anyways.
my God. Anyways, I'm going to go with actual skill here. I'm going to go with Minnesota Twins, Byron Buxton. I love Byron Buxton. This diving catch. Oops. Absolutely just lays out for that. You can tell he's hurt, actually, because I think he got the wind knocked out of him. Byron Buxton is an underrated all-star caliber. I think if without the injuries, he could be like one of those players we talk about forever and ever. He's such a good player. You could tell it hurt. What a diving catch to save multiple runs. I think there were people on base there.
This is hard because diving catch, especially just throwing your body and like laying it on the line, is like just always impressive to see, especially when you go out like that. But you don't see those things on TV. Like, you don't see that. I was like, you don't see that happen. happen. And I feel like that's cool because I feel like even if I wasn't paying attention to the game and that were to happen, like if I saw the catch, I'd be like, oh, that was such a great catch.
If you were at the game, it hits off the top of the foul pole. You could be in the top row and catch a home run ball.
And that's like a once, because everybody too is like they don't even know until it's like where to go.
The only
and hit
thing
the
I think
ball.
that's notable about that is everyone got chicken. Everyone got chicken.
Everyone did get
Except
chicken.
everyone at home who was watching on TV.
So who's the point
Sorry,
go
sweetie.
to? All
It
right.
had to be Santi.
Okay. Well, I'll be up 2-0. Tyler.
You can come back, bro. You can
Tyler,
come back.
you
The
can't come
Santiago
back.
City Thunder over here.
Well, let's go to our best NHL play of the week. Let's take it to the ice.
Okay.
Tyler, how about you start us off?
Yeah, we've got Ali and Colin in control room, so let's pray for me here. We've got the Tanner Jeannot goal from behind the circle in the Bruins Sabres game. I mean, you see a lot of fun plays. He's behind the red circle here, and I know I'm getting that wrong. He just flicks it past the goalie.
The
It's
red
so
circle.
effortless. Nothing is between them. It's like there's no goalie at all. We've had so many NHL plays where it's like these flashy behind the back leg things, and this is just
No
as simple as it gets.
That was good. That was a good one. Okay, what you got?
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with something maybe just simple, but more monumentous. I'm gonna go with Wyatt Robertson's game winner Wednesday night for the Stars in double overtime. Now, this game went on for so long that I fell asleep on Ali Striedman's couch. That's how long this game went, and he finally ended it with a clean shot, and it goes right through the goalie. The moment was, I think the moment is really what sticks out to me about this. They were on such a long stalemate. To finally break the ice with that one, that'd be my play of the week.
Okay. Well, if I'm still being unbiased and kind of going it, I do like some flashy, and I do like that because you do gotta, take double overtime, the game winner. It's cool, but I feel like there's always gonna be bound to be a game winner. But to be able to throw that puck that effortlessly and kind of like you said, it was a flick. Like it looked so low effort, but it was also it went through two defenders and went straight in. So I'm gonna have to give this one to Tyler. It was a great win with the overtime, I will say, especially when that horn starts blaring, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But that little flick was very ooh. You're gonna remember that.
All right, don't let Tyler get hot. We got 2-1 ball game.
Oh, we do.
But let's move into why I love the game. All right, this is the worst umpire / ref mistake or biggest blooper. So why do I love baseball? Because you can see things that you never see in any other sport. So we have inside the park home run from the White Sox. Now it goes to the bat boy, and the bat boy hits the ball. It's a little tough to see on the screen right now, but the bat boy hits the ball. The Arizona Diamondbacks thinks it's a dead ball, so they stop playing it, and the guy goes all the way from home to score. The throw is way off the line, and he scores his first ever home run as a inside the park home run because it goes down the line, and then the bat boy touches the ball. The bat boy literally tries to field this ball, and he just acts like he didn't touch it. The refs rule it somehow not a dead ball, and he scores an inside the park home run. That's mistakes, miscellaneous bloopers all around. Refs, you got to rule that a dead ball. I mean, what are we doing? And then the bat boy, what are you doing?
Get
Why
out
are
of
you
the
trying
way.
to field a live ball? Get out of the way. What is going on? Why I love the big game. I love
terrible.
baseball.
You already know what's going to be keeping him up at night.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be that. Oh, Lord.
Oh, that's terrible. Okay.
Okay, what you got?
First of all, I also want to just note down the line. What was that?
That one's done.
Down the line. All right, I'm gonna go back to hockey here. Sidney Crosby has been in the league 21 years, and he never learned how to flop. The first ever embellishment penalty of his career. We're gonna get a replay here. This is one of the worst flops I've ever seen in any sport. I really hope. Here we go. Watch this. He's gonna get high sticked for sure. Oh! He did not take acting in high school. That was a terrible flop. He got his first embellishment penalty ever in 21 years. That's the worst flop I've ever seen, I think.
Dude, it literally tapped him and he reacted 3
I don't think it
seconds
touched his
later.
face. He
I don't
just
know. He just saw it and he was like
ah!
but
We're
it looked
talking
like
about the
someone.
Oklahoma City Thunder.
Talking about the Thunder, yeah, that's worse than Shea.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I will say the bat boy.
Keep in mind, wait, I just want
Go.
that was that guy's first ever home run. Was
That
it
is
inside
true.
the park home run?
Was a
Anyways,
fuck up. But the
Might as well
first
do that.
embellishment of 21 years. I'm sorry. I'm gonna give this one to Tyler. That was hilarious. Just the delayed it wasn't really close, but just a delayed reaction is hilarious, and I picked this one because it makes me laugh.
Colin Flickinger in the control room, that's his sweetie baby, and he did not do that well. He is not a flopper.
No.
He's not a flopper.
All
He's
right,
a vintage hockey player.
We're gonna go on our runs. They're gonna go on ours. Tyler went on his run, so now it's time to respond. I'm gonna go with my best miscellaneous sports play.
Okay.
I'm gonna take it back to the MLB. So why do I love baseball? Because you can see things that you have never seen. So you have
You said
right
it.
here, we have Logan Gilbert catches a line drive with his jersey.
Oh.
When have you ever seen a guy catch a line drive with his jersey? Gets hit right back to him 114 miles off the bat, and it goes right in between
I
his
see it,
buttons,
yeah.
and he catches it. And then the umpires don't even rule it a catch; they ruled it a hit. They didn't even give him credit for catching it. So that, I mean, that's awesome. I'm glad he's okay because he just took
That's-
115 right to the
His
chest.
ribs are.
That was awesome to
He's
see.
definitely bruised.
Listen, I don't think that should be ruled a catch.
Yeah, that should be an out. That should totally be an out.
No, he didn't actually catch it. That's just luck.
But that.
But he could have thrown it to first base.
Same
the same
thing
way
if
that,
you
like,
were to
if
catch it like in
hits
your in your armpit,
or if it
something,
hits your
still
body
would
and
be-
you stop it, you pick
I
it
don't
up,
know.
throw it to
I don't
first
know.
base. Well, they ruled
I'm
it a
gonna
hit.
go with one of my favorite things in
Say.
sports: hockey fights. Penguins Flyers in Battle of Pennsylvania, and this just gets ugly. Everybody, like the whole bench is clear. This isn't baseball, but 11 penalties were given from this fight. This thing lasted
Dang.
forever. Look at the glass shaking.
That's a brawl.
And then you're going to see in a second that a ref is going to try to get between two of these players, and then the ref just becomes part of the fight because not Brute.
Oh my
Penguin over
God.
here. So referees.
Yo,
trying to
he's
get
biting.
Flyer.
Yeah.
Biting the ref first of all, and then he's trying to. Now the ref's in the sandwich. It's a Pennsylvania ref sandwich. This is ugly, but it's so much fun. I love hockey fights.
Okay, dang, this is a hard one. This is actually really hard because I really love once in a lifetime things, which is that catch, but I also love a good hockey fight and the biting. Okay. Okay, I have my decision.
I should say, we're ready to hoist the cone. Thanks, Colin.
The winner of this round of verses, I'm gonna have to give it to Santi Ortiz
go.
with the jersey catch. So,
Hoist the cone.
hoist the cone.
Shout out.
Put it on your head.
Shout out Connor Griffin. Shout out to the Pirates. Having a good series. Pirates and Reds subplot really driving the MLB season. So thanks, Georgie, for coming on one more time. It was a lot of fun.
Thank y'all so much for
I
having
appreciate
me.
you, everything that you've done for the 1-0 Sports Show, and everything that you do for TSTV really means a lot.
Thank y'all so much. I obviously enjoy it. Want to Know was my first show that I really just started getting super into and got me super close and made friends with y'all.
Aw.
So love y'all down, and thank y'all for having me.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. We'll have our next block. We'll talk some Texas takes. It'll be a good time, and then we'll be back with our pick'ems later.
All right, and welcome back to the 1-0 Sports Show. We've got Santi hoisting the cone over here. We're going to go into our next block, Texas Takes. We're going to just dish out some Texas athletics, what we think is going to happen. We're going to start off with.
Well, we can start off. We can talk some baseball real quick. Were you satisfied with this weekend series against Alabama?
It's a rebound, definitely. I would have preferred a sweep, obviously, but getting a series win against a good Alabama team is a good way to rebound. They've had some struggles lately. They lost that rain-shortened series against Texas A&M. And I think it's just a good rebound. I think they've still got some work to do, especially on the pitching side. But you can still see that there's fight in this team. They're number 4. I think that's a good spot for them. I feel good about the next kind of sort of series is coming up in SEC play because they've got some easier opponents coming up.
Yeah, despite agreeing with what you said, not accounting for Sunday, I really liked what I saw of the offense, specifically getting that hitting and getting guys on base and then hitting home runs when we have guys on base. That's awesome to see, and it's always good. I think that's kind of been something in the past with Texas, specifically last year, was like getting guys on base but not being able to drive in.
You can't strand people on base.
No.
You're going to lose games that way.
The Blue Jays, I mean, in that
Astros
series,
every year since ever.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we talked some Texas baseball, but let's get to what everybody cares about, what everybody really likes, Texas football. They had their open practice last Saturday, and there were some people that made some questionable plays, some good plays. But going into the second season with Arch Manning at the helm, with many seniors leaving and a lot of guys coming in from the portal, what do you think Texas football's record will be in 2026?
Yeah, so I remember this was asked on Crossfire a couple weeks ago, or last week or whatever. And I think I agree with the majority thing. I think it's 11-1. I think that's where we're sitting right now because I don't think Texas always plays down to somebody. Last year it was Florida. It's been worse teams in the past when we were worse. I remember we lost to Kansas that one year, and I know that was a long time ago, but still Sark. Texas always plays down to somebody. There's always a week where it's like, what is happening? This team forgot how to play football. We're not going to be able to avoid that. So I think it's going to be 11-1. I think we finally avenge some losses. Honestly, I think the losses to a team nobody expects. I'd venture.
I'm not sure.
Do we play Arkansas this year?
Yeah.
I'd say Arkansas. I'm going to say Arkansas. I say Texas loses to Arkansas. They beat Tennessee. They beat LSU. They get into the playoff, but there's going to be a surprise loss in there somewhere.
I'm going to agree. I'm going to go with the regular season 11-1, but I'm going to predict that Texas wins the national championship. I mean, if there's ever been a team to do it, this is the team to do it. We have, Texas fans, start buying your tickets to Tampa Bay or wherever. I'm giving Georgie Reese some flashback.
Hey, listen, the last time Santiago Ortiz said buy your tickets to something was the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, and he was dead on the money. Santi is like a fortune teller. You better start buying your tickets.
I know some Texas football pretty well, so buy your tickets to Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada, 2025, January 25, 2027. Texas will be there. I think that they're going to have one loss. Yes, I'm going to go with one of the LSU or the Tennessee games. I think those road environments are really tough, and specifically last year we saw Texas didn't really build a lot of. They didn't really do well in those road games, and they played some really hard places, but I don't know how well they're going to build off that. I think, they lose one of those two games on the road.
I'm excited for Cam Coleman, as everybody is, because one of the lacking thing, we got some good O-line pickups, but one of the things that they struggled with all year was the wide receiver core. It wasn't great. Parker Livingston was the leading receiver, and even then, that's not setting the world on fire. Wingo had an off year. So I think getting someone explosive on the wide receiver core, I think that's going to bring it to the 11.
Speaking of, if I want to go all Nostradamus here, I think Khalil Lockett has the potential to be one of the best receivers in college football. He was my favorite guy on the team last year, even though he didn't even play. And then when he finally got to play in the Cheez-It Bowl, he reeled in that 31-yard touchdown. So I really like with him, and then Mosley, Wingo, you add Coleman into there. I think the offense is going to be really good.
I think he'll lock it in for sure.
Yeah, Khalil Lockett, lock it in. All right, so let's talk about Texas basketball. They use the transfer portal pretty well. They've picked up some 5-stars, 4-stars, and we talked last week about how they got David Punch and the guy from Colorado. But this week they got Elijah Freeman from Auburn, and then they also got another player from St. Mary's recently, a point guard right there. You see him dunking. But so in the second year of Sean Miller's tenure as head coach, after a Sweet 16 appearance, what do you think the next season is going to look like for Texas men's basketball?
Sean Miller did a lot with not a lot this past year. I think we have to give him a lot of credit for being able to take a team that wasn't really his, that was still a lot of leftover from the Rodney Terry era, and take him to the Sweet 16 after what was a disappointing regular season. He got them to turn it around. There are some people leaving. I know Nick Cody's leaving, Cam Heidi's leaving, and honestly,
Will not really be missed too much.
I think that's for the best, because I think we're ushering in a new era of Sean Miller physical basketball. I think we're still going to go pretty ISO, but I definitely feel like once we give Sean Miller the roster that he wants and the support that he wants, because I think it's going to really help if we get the student section back into like full blownness. Which, I mean, do they deserve it?
I really agree with that.
But I think if we can get, I think we know what happens if it helps. Georgie, part of the charge here. Shout out charge.
Women.
Shout out women.
Continue, Tyler.
Anyways, so yeah, I think that I think it's going to be good. I think we can expect an Elite Eight appearance.
You know, I was kind of teetering on Elite Eight as well, but I'm gonna say Sweet 16. They end the same place that they ended this year. I think. First of all, compared to football, it's very easy to look at a schedule, very concrete. It's a very predictable sport. Basketball is just so much volatility. It's really hard, specifically in March Madness, to make it far. You never see teams consistently Final Four every single year. Even if they have a year in between that, where like Arizona, they lost to Princeton in the first round. So I'm going to go with Sweet 16. I think that I agree with you that it's exciting to see a team that he crafted and he can really take over. And I'm excited to see what Sean Miller's style of basketball looks like. I think there will be a lot more passing involved. I think that was kind of what he built his game on as a point guard himself and what he wants to build through his offense.
Yeah, I think once we get ball movement really, really centered and as the focus of the offense, I think that's going to unlock a lot of opportunities for sure.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for our Texas Take Block. We're going to go into a short break, and we're going to go to one of our favorite segments that we invented, 10 in 10, 10 topics in 10 minutes. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the 100 Sports Show. We have a different camera arrangement here because we're going to go with our 10-10 segment that was invented by us. Tyler, I think, did you invent this segment?
I don't know who pitched it, but I think I may have been the first one to do it on
the collaboration of minds, me, you, and Mike. We need to take a second here. I want to give a PSA. Shout out to Michael Alvarez.
Rest in peace, Michael Alvarez.
Rest in peace. He's rolling in his grave.
He's rolling in his grave.
Me and Mike hosted the show a lot of times together, and we were the executive producer last year, and I think we did a good job.
Santi and Mike basically kept the show alive when no one would come to the tapings, so.
Yeah, one and oh never dies. But anyways, so let's get into it. We're going to talk about 10 topics in 10 minutes. We're going to set a timer right here on our phone. Tyler, how about you start us off? Şengün disappointment. We've talked about it during the show. What do you think?
See, the funny thing is that statistically he's not doing terrible. He's got 20 and 19 points. The rebounds aren't terrible. It's just that he does. It kind of reminds me of when Kyle Tucker was an Astro in the playoffs. Like, he's just not playing with the heart, with the intensity that he needs to play in the playoffs. He's not being an anchor. I mean, that little clip that you did, it's true. It's true. He's not doing what he needs to do.
Roll it.
And no, but like the stats are saying he's being fine. He needs to be more than fine. He needs to be a leader, and he's not.
Yeah, I really like that comparison to Kyle Tucker. I think you see the same way for both of them. The way they approach the game is not with a lot of passion or intensity. And I think with Şengün, I think he does have that, but it's just not being channeled through. And I really think KD needs to step up big. Like, obviously, KD, this is your sign that, Game 5 2021 against the Bucks, you need that 51-point performance. We need something big out of KD to drive this team, or else it's just going to stay stagnant. Things aren't going to get off the ground. But moving on, we talked about the NFL draft and some surprising picks. We're going to have Tyler. Who is the worst NFL draft pick that your team has ever selected?
Oh boy, there's a couple. I'm trying to think of because we've had some really good draft picks. We've had some draft picks just not work out. I mean, recently the Kenyon Green draft pick didn't work out. The Roy Lopez draft pick didn't work out. I'd argue Jadeveon Clowney was kind of not the best pick because of who was available and what Aaron Donald became.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of truly terrible draft picks.
Maybe who just comes to mind first is the Texans drafted that guy and you're like, how did we take him? Because I can go first. For the Packers, I'm going to go with Kevin King, first-round draft pick number 21, I believe, in 2017. This guy was a corner out of Washington, had a bright, promising future. Then in the NFC Championship game, he let Scotty Miller score a 60-yard touchdown against him at the end of the half. He completely lost us that game.
I forgot about this guy. We drafted a 19-year-old once, Amabi Okoye, at number 10 in 2007. And first of all, never draft a 19-year-old. That's it.
All right, we're going over. All right, next one. Favorite album ever. Tyler, I'm really interested to hear what you have to say about this.
I've been agonizing over this, and I'm trying to think of historically what's an album that I have never skipped, and there's a nickname that I'm going to get called after this, and I apologize in advance. It's 1989 by Taylor Swift. I'm so sorry.
It's a good album.
It's a banger. I don't skip it front to back. It reminds me of my high school days. It's so good.
That's a good album. I really like the first 5 songs on there. You're just I can't believe these are they're all hits. Yeah, all number one hits. Shout out Taylor Swift's production. Shout out T Swizzle. I feel like she's kind of underrated. My favorite album ever. I was inspired to write this question. It's got to be My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West. I was listening to the album the other day and just listening to it. Some of my favorite songs ever. I mean, specifically when you get to Power, Runaway, those songs really hit you
Vintage
hard.
Kanye.
Yeah, I mean,
could not be beat.
The return he made, awesome. All right, Munitaka Murakami, we talked a little bit about him earlier. I think we should just take this time, since we talked about him specifically, to talk about the assimilation of Japanese players into baseball. And do you think that Japanese players are the future of the MLB?
Yes and no. I think that the MLB has had a long, storied, and great history of having these eras where people from different nations start assimilating into the league. We had the Dominicans, the Cubans, and they're still a part of our league now. And I am so happy that Japan is getting a chance to break in because they have such a long and storied baseball history. And I think they're the future, but not in the way that they're going to overtake it. It's just they're going to be a new part of the history.
Yeah, I think kind of adding to that, so when you have this assimilation like this, I think right now a lot of fans are like, wow, Japan just keeps producing these great players. But when you're adding a whole new country, you're taking the best of the best, the cream of the crop from those countries. Those guys are going to end up pretty good, but I don't think U.S. fans need to be worried about Japan taking over all of MLB. Shout out who?
Better baseball is better baseball, and
Yes.
shout out Ichiro, he pioneered it.
Shout out Babe Ruth.
Okay.
All right, Ohtani. Speaking of 53-game hit streak, so he started this hit streak last year in the
So
playoffs.
is this a hit streak or an on-base streak?
This is a hit streak.
I think it's an on-base.
No,
which is still-
on base hit streak. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. He's been on base 53 straight games, which makes sense because at some
Yeah.
point he's going to get walked anyway. I mean, what has he not done? What has he not done? Is this really surprising to anybody?
No, there's a lot of things that Shohei has done. I think when all said and done, he might end up. I just said shout out to Babe Ruth. He might surpass him and be the best baseball player of
I
all
think he
time,
has already.
undoubtedly. I don't think Shohei
I think he
Ohtani
has
is.
already.
Shohei Ohtani has not passed up Babe Ruth already. That's ridiculous
I'd
to
argue.
say. That's actually an insane statement. I'm not even going to acknowledge that. So
You just did.
okay. Well, Shohei, I think where he sticks out is on the mound. What he's able to do, the movement that he gets on his pitches, but. Also, he always rises up to the moment. That's
Yes.
something I really, really appreciate about Shohei.
Never seen him
Ohtani's game.
choke.
All right, we're kind of all over the place with our topics, but that's what 10 and 10 is about. So I kind of wanted to get a little fun with it. Let's talk about the best restaurants in West Campus. Tyler, what is peak
There
restaurant in
is-
West Campus?
A sushi restaurant right next to Pluckers that on weekdays, Monday through Thursday, I think it's called Raku Sushi.
It is called Raku Sushi.
You get buy one, get one free rolls, and it is phenomenal. They have fantastic miso soup. The prices are good. You get buy one, get one free rolls. It is absolutely, go to Raku Sushi. It's so good.
Yeah, sake bombs for days. Best restaurant in West Campus. I mean, it's tempting to not just say next door. And I might have to go with Pluckers. You know, there's a
Right.
lot of good things. I really like Potbelly. I like the Jimmy John's on MLK. Got a lot of memories there. Pete Terry's was a good one. But the most memories is Pluckers. Going there after the game, specifically with TJ and some other buddies.
Yeah.
We had to wait like 2 hours to get a table. But the thing about Pluckers, bro, it always hits. Every single time. I always
Never
leave
had bad
Pluckers
food
extremely
there.
satisfied. I love Pluckers. So, let's move on. Michael Taft, do you think that he's going to get drafted?
100%. 100%. There's 7 rounds in the NFL draft, and there are so many players worse than Michael Taft. I think he's going to be a day 3 pick. I think he's going to go round 4 through 7. I'd argue 5 or 6. But someone is going to be looking for a cheaper secondary position, and they're going to take a chance on Taft, and I think he's going to make the most of it.
Yeah, you know, I think with Taft, he's a very athletic guy, and he's just a good dude. He's an organizational leader. He's the kind of guy that you want on your team, in your building, no matter what type of organization that you're building. And we saw that, I think, with him really, like specifically at Texas. He really took over his leadership, and coming in as a walk-on, when you're a walk-on in a room with NIL players that are making $1 million, why should they listen to you? You know, why should you be the leader of the team? But he proved that through his play. He worked his way up the ranks, and, you know, I agree with the safeties. Specifically, you have guys that get really injured very quickly, and you need some young guys in there just to fill up some space. And I think he gets drafted. I really love the Packers to take him, and I think day 3.
That's absolutely correct. The Packers would be perfect.
I think he is a day 3 guy. So moving on. Do you like Fernando Mendoza? Let's just plain and simple.
I don't know anyone who doesn't like Fernando Mendoza. He's a family guy. He's so well spoken, and the LinkedIn thing is hilarious. But you could tell he loves his family. But you could tell he's genuine about loving football and wanting to be a good person in the locker room. When you contrast him with, like, remember the Heisman thing with Diego Pavia? Like, Diego Pavia is a jerk. I hate him.
Contrast him with like Rashid Rice.
Oh God. Fernando Mendoza is just the kind of guy where, like, if I had a kid, I would want him to be on the TV as a role model. He's so nice to watch. It's refreshing.
All right, I'm gonna go a little off-brand here. I'm not the biggest fan. You know, in January I was really there was a lot of Fernando Mendoza. It was kind of irritating, but he's obviously a good guy. You know, Catholic man. I love that. Shout out Catholic people. But I feel like he's forced. I feel like he's performative. The LinkedIn thing is forced. That's performative. He's just performative. I don't like it. It's a little cringe. But all right. TSTV Sports Moment of the Year. Tyler, it's been a long year. What sticks out to you as the best moment of the whole year?
I was trying to think of, like, what sticks out as the funniest to me, and they're both in control room right now. College Crossfire, Addie Che went after Colin Flickinger and said he was full-on emotionless. And since then, we have not stopped talking about it. It literally came up on Wednesday about how, like, that was a turning point in terms of just, like, our friendship as a group somehow.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. It was a shot. it worked out. But that was hilarious to me.
Yeah, we have a couple. I like to keep it humble, but I really liked the Cheesable. That was a really fun one. I really believed in that, and then being able to rub it in TJ's face with edit that Georgie made that actually blew up. That was pretty fun. Also, yeah, and it really helped our Instagram take off, boosted the algorithm. I also liked going to Dirty Martin's that one time in February after 1-0. I think
was
that
fun.
was a big turn. Going to the Yeti Yard, fun times were had.
Yeah.
All right, so summer plans. What are you up to this summer, Tyler?
Nothing. Like, I really don't have a plan. I plan on going back to Houston and like just doing what makes me happy, and that's it.
Fire. Summer plans, yeah. I also don't have any plans. Fire. Hoping to go to grad school, and hopefully the program that I get to would start in July. So hopefully that'll be what I'm up to. But a lot of golf, a lot of sitting by the pool. I really summer. I think that's one of my favorite things. Sitting by the pool in summer, having
Yeah.
a day to yourself. What about
I
you?
need some golf days. I need some golf
Do you
days.
golf?
I golf every once in a while, yeah.
How
I'm
good
not
are
good.
you?
I'm terrible. I'm the worst you've ever seen. Most of my drives either go fully left or fully right. Is bad, but it's just fun. Because golf is the one sport where you could be the worst at it and you're still gonna have fun.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not about being good at it, it's about the experience.
It's also you can accidentally hit a really good shot in golf. In a way that you can't in any other sport.
I hit like a 239 drive and I was like,
That's crazy.
that keeps you coming back.
Yeah, it does. All right, Tyler. 10 and 10. We'll have our final block of the 1-0 Sports Show next. We'll have a special guest on. You're not going to want to miss it. All right, hello, welcome back to the 1-0 Sports Show. We're here, our final segment, our final time on the 1-0 Sports Show. Oh man, we do not have trivia, but can't have the 1-0 Sports Show without some graphic issues. So we've got our E-blocks, our pick'ems. We're gonna pick 10 games. We're gonna give you all the picks for the weekend. Let's start off. We got Spurs versus Trailblazers, Game 3. Now Wembanyama obviously hurt with a concussion. Who do you think wins, Tyler?
I think it's going to be the Spurs. I can see an argument that without Wembanyama, they're going to have some issues, but I think they're going to avenge him. I think the Trailblazers got their one win out of the series out of the way. I think the Spurs are going to take it the rest of the way.
Yeah, I'm going to completely agree with that. Obviously, Wemby's out for at least until Game 5, I think it is. I know the NBA has some concussion protocol guidelines. I do think that the Spurs should have won Game 2, even though they were without Wemby. I think Harrison Barnes was hurt, and a lot of other players just got hurt in the middle of the game. The big Yahoo put in the call for that one. But I think the Spurs are going to bounce back in Game 3 and take the series lead and probably just coast until a gentleman's sweep in Game 5.
All right, well, I'm going to pick the Trailblazers here. I'm going to pick Deni Avdija. I think specifically for the Spurs, I don't trust them with their playoff experience. They don't really have much. Not that the Trailblazers have any more, but I don't think De'Aaron Fox is going to lead the team. I'm kind of here to hate on De'Aaron Fox, I guess. But I don't think that he has it in them. And we really saw them get shell-shocked by that Wemby injury. They choked a big lead. I mean, they gave up a 12-2 run in the last 2 minutes of the game. They even allowed the Trailblazers to get in. It's for an opportunity to win Game 1. So, gonna pick the Trailblazers. All right, moving on to a series that's really been kind of almost the main discussion of this entire episode. The Lakers versus Rockets. We've talked about it in pretty much every single block. Tyler, who's gonna be winning on Game 3?
Listen, Rockets had the higher seed, so I think we're moving it back. I think this game's in Los Angeles.
It's in Houston.
It's in Houston?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry for the correction.
I might change pick then. Listen, I don't think they're going to go down 3-0. I think the Rockets are finally going to take one here. Do I think they're going to win the series? Not as much anymore. But I think they're going to take Game 3. I don't see it being a 3-0 lead.
I agree, Tyler. Keep it short and simple. Rockets win.
I'm going to have to go against the both of y'all. I'm going to say the Lakers win. Obviously, I don't watch the NBA very much, but it is playoff basketball, so sometimes I'll tune in for a bit. But LeBron and I don't even know who else is on the Lakers, but LeBron's been cooking without Luka and Austin Reeves, and I just think that the Lakers are going to be too much for the Rockets to handle. Maybe the Rockets are going to be able to steal one since it is back in Houston, but we'll see if the Houston fans even show up, that they're already down 2-0. But I'm going to have to go with the Lakers.
That's true. Let's talk about it. Hey, the city of Houston has some fair weather fans. When things are good, they're all, I love my team, I'm Astros, Texans, but when things are bad, they do not come to games. They don't even watch the games. I wanted to just acknowledge that real quick. Tyler, thoughts?
And that's why they're losing.
Even when they're good, sometimes people don't come. Sometimes there's traffic because it's really hard to get to the Reliant Stadium. But Houston needs to do better with those. Houston needs to do better as a fandom.
All right, Tyler, get back there this summer and change the culture. Let's go to Celtics versus 76ers. 76ers won Game 2 on the road, back in Philadelphia. Who do you think wins this one, Gabriel?
I think the Celtics are going to be a little ticked off that they lost that game at home. I think they're going to bounce back and take Game 3 on the road. Tatum and Brown are just, they're a lot to overcome, especially for the 76ers, who are currently kind of without Joel Embiid. We kind of looked it up right before, and his status is still up in the air. So he could play or he could not play, but I just think the Celtics are going to rebound from that loss in Game 2.
Mm-hmm. I picked the Celtics to win it all, and I'm kind of tempted, really, to take the 76ers here because they won that game. Also, can we sidebar shout out appendicitis? I had appendicitis when I was 5. It was pretty fire. They gave me a popsicle during my surgery, so shout out to appendicitis. Shout out to the appendix. I'm gonna go with the 76ers. Switch it up right now. I really believe in Tyrese Maxey. I watched this guy play when he was in high school, dropped 51 points in the state championship semifinals. Tyrese Maxey and Paul George lead 76ers to a win.
All right, big up the appendix.
Celtics.
Okay, sounds good.
Short and simple.
All right, let's take it under the hardwood to the ice. We've got the Golden Knights versus the Utah Mammoth. Game 3. Series is also tied at 1-1. Who do you think is going to win, Gray Bro?
I don't know much about hockey, but based off vibes, and the Utah Mammoth are still a new team just in general. Obviously, they still have the players from the Coyotes. I think that's how that works.
It is.
But I'm gonna have to go with the Golden Knights in this one. I just think that they'll win in Game 3.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Golden Knights as well. They've kind of been the more physical team in the series, and Game 1 specifically, they were kind of bullying Utah, and I don't think Utah has the firepower to compete with them long term. I'm going to go with the Knights.
I disagree. I think this game is back in Utah. I think we're going to see some good stuff out of their goalkeeper Vejmelka. I think Keller's going to have a really good game. I think that here's the thing about the NHL is that historically, ever since the Golden Knights and even the Kraken, expansion or relocation teams have a shocking amount of success in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
That's true.
They do a lot of really good things, and part of it is because when a new franchise or a relocation happens, they have all the Coyotes players, and they get some really good rewards out of being new. They're going to reap it. I think they take Game 3.
All right. Well, keeping it on the ice, we have Oilers versus Ducks. I'll start this one off pretty easily for me. Connor McDavid is on the Oilers. That's all I need to hear. I'm going to take the Oilers. Shout out Le David. Whatever. He's the LeBron of hockey.
I'm just gonna go with the Ducks because they had a movie made about them a long time ago. I think. Yeah, I don't know too much about hockey. I don't know too much about hockey, but I think the Ducks will take Game 3.
Quack quack. I think we're going to go with the Ducks here. Quack quack. Here's the thing.
Clip that, Georgie.
Clip it, Georgie.
Chat.
Here's the thing about the Oilers, and I think this is what we've seen. They are a really good team. I think they lost in the Stanley Cup final, but I think they have a history of choking. And I think this year, I'm calling them to be the team that early chokes. I think the Ducks are going to take it.
All right. Well, we've got UFC, which we featured a little bit. Tyler, we got Sterling versus Zala. Who do you think's winning?
I'm going to go with Zalal. I think that there's an advantage. He's got a longer reach at 72 inches. He's got 3 more inches of height. They're obviously the same weight because they have to be. He's a little younger. I know that doesn't always matter, and sometimes there's the more physical, but I think this time I'm going to take the advantage in height and length to make this a... I think it's either going to be... It's not going to be a knockout. It's going to be a decision, but I think it'll be unanimous law.
All right, yeah, I'm going to go with Sterling. I really like his girth and tonnage. I'm going to go with Sterling in a decision as well.
I'm going to go with Sterling as well. You mentioned his reach, and I can see over here that he only has 1 extra inch on him.
1 inch is more than 1 non-inch.
We know
hey man,
that
1 inch is a lot. That's a significant amount.
It can make a big difference, all right. But I'm still going to go with Sterling. I think he's won more fights like in his career anyways. I think he's like 25-5. The
He's
other
also
guys.
6 years older.
Yeah. So he does have that experience. So I think
I wanted to add I like a switch stance over an orthodox in this situation for Zalal.
I have no idea what that means. So I'm just going to have to say Sterling's going to win.
All right, so let's go to the MLB, back to the Diamond. We got Tigers versus Reds. This is actually a pretty intriguing series. Who do you think's going to win, Tyler?
Shadow Ali Schreiber. I'm going to go to Detroit Tigers. I think that for this series, I think the Tigers are starting to figure some stuff out. They're not as bad as they were at the beginning of the season. I think that we're probably going to see some good stuff from Kevin McGonigal, and I think that it's going to be. I think they're going to rebound this series. Not fully, but I think Fromber starting Game 1's a good omen.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Reds. They've been playing really hot recently, led by Ellie De La Cruz, and then the up and comer for them. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name, but I'm just gonna go with the Reds.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Reds, too. Pulled up the pitching matchup. Fromber going to Game 1, like Tyler Strempel said. But I just think that the Reds, they've just started off a little bit more hot than the Tigers. The Tigers probably need this series to kind of boost them up. But, I mean, the Reds have just, kind of out of nowhere, 16-9 right now compared to the 14-12 Detroit Tigers record. So I think that the Reds are going to be able to take this series, 2 games 3.
Mm-hmm. All right. We got Yankees versus Astros, classic showdown. Who's going to win the series, Tyler?
Listen, there are many reasons why I will never pick the Yankees. Most of them involve bias, and I apologize for the lack of objectivity, but I can't in good faith pick them. However, in this situation, I genuinely believe that the Astros perform better against good teams than they do against bad teams. I don't know what it is. It's been happening for years, and I think that we're going to see the Astros magically pull out a series against a good Yankees team. I think it's the Astros.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm not going to pick against the Houston Astros. They still have the pieces to do it. It's just that they've been hit with the injury bug really, really bad. Jeremy Pena's out, Hunter Brown is out. I'm looking at the pitching matchups, and Lance McCullers Jr. is pitching tonight, so you can just mark that one off as an L. But I think that they're going to be able to bounce back Saturday and Sunday. I just wouldn't put it past this Astros team to, like Tyler said, kind of have a disappointing start to the season and just bounce back and take a series from a team like the New York Yankees, a rival that they've had for the past, decade, it feels like.
Yeah.
So I just think that they'll be able to do
I'm going to disagree with the McCullers thing. I think we're going to get vintage Lance.
Vintage Lance. Which
Vintage
was like
Lance.
He has a
one season.
6.20 ERA.
I know, but that one game he won, he was lights out. I think we're gonna get that again.
I sure hope so.
Well,
but
you know, I think the thing that I love about baseball, I've talked about this a lot this episode, is that you can have stretches and, you know, it's an up and down game, and sometimes your ups and downs might come at the beginning of the season, but I think the Astros are going to be fine. Yes, the injury bugs are bad. Yes, the starting pitching hasn't been great, but I think they bounce back winning this series.
they just need to get healthy. To be
All right,
honest.
Athletics versus Rangers, an AL West showdown. The Athletics are actually a pretty solid team. Bro, who's going to win this one?
So this is technically the battle for the lead in the AL West. You know, it's the end of April, but, you know, stuff like that can go a long ways. But I'm never going to pick the Texas Rangers. I'm going to have to go with the Las Vegas Athletics or the Sacramento A's. Severino, Severino versus Evaldi tonight is going to be a tough one for Severino.
Severino pitches much better on the road.
That
than
is
he
true.
does
That is true.
in,
But I do think that the rest of the matchups for the pitching wise, it seems like it favors the A's a little bit. So I'm gonna have to go with the A's to win this series on the road, take the division lead, which is kind of crazy to talk about with the A's. So I'm gonna go with the A's.
Shout out Jenny Caviar. My favorite color is green trees, but I'm gonna go with the Rangers.
Well, hello.
I'm gonna go with Nathan Neal, Mackenzie Gore. The pitching for the Rangers is just absolutely insane. Project 2026 for the Rangers.
Whoa.
They win.
Screw the Rangers. Dallas and Fort Worth the same. Arlington doesn't matter.
Whoa.
Go Athletics.
It's like Houston sports.
All right. Well, let's move from the professional back to the college ranks. For our last ever pick, we've got number 4 Texas at Vanderbilt, baseball series winner. The Longhorns have been kind of struggling up and down. Vanderbilt is a historic program over the last 10 years. They've had a lot of success. Who you guys going with?
I'm gonna have to say Texas will win the series again. The big thing is that, you know, Coach Loss finally moved Dylan Volantis from Sunday to Friday after losing their Friday openers, you know, almost every weekend in the SEC outside of blowing out OU. Now you got a guy like Dylan Volantis on Friday nights that can, you know, give you a win. And then you move on to Ruger Riojas on Saturday, and then Luke Harrison had a huge bounce back start last Sunday, even though the offense didn't really back him up. So I'm not really worried about the pitching. I think the pitching's going to do all right. The starters, at least. The bullpen, if they're able to throw strikes, obviously that's the one thing you need to do when you're in the bullpen. But it is going to be a rowdy environment there in Vanderbilt. Hopefully the offense can, you know, turn the corner after kind of having a sluggish offensive output last Saturday and Sunday. And if they're able to do that, I think they're going to be able to take this series.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Texas. Vanderbilt's not as good as they used to be. They're not ranked. They're kind of in the middle of the pack in the SEC this year. I think this is a really good opportunity for Texas to show some firepower, to put down the hammer, figure some stuff out. I think it's going to be Texas.
Yeah, I'll go with Texas as well. Shout out Vanderbilt baseball, though. Shout out Ileon Nicholson. Well, all right. We've made our picks for the week. Hopefully they turn out. I guess we'll update our pick'ems ranking maybe next semester when we come back.
Yeah.
But that's going to do it for this semester of the 1-0 Sports Show. Don't forget to join us next week for our final episode of our senior college press box. And let's just talk. It's been, you know, I want to say it's been good to be the producer for 2 years. You know, there's a lot to say, not a lot of time to say it, but you know, it's kind of crazy to me because every single Friday for the last 2 years for my school, I've just been here in the HSM, wake up at 8 in the morning, make some VOs, write some script, and I don't know what I'm going to do when I wake up in September and I'm not at the HSM on Fridays. So shout out to Mike, shout out to Tyler. Thank you to everyone who's ever been on the show and ever made a VO, wrote a script, came up here, talked in front of a camera. It takes a lot of courage to talk in front of a camera and a microphone, and I really appreciate everybody, and I'm going to miss it a lot. It was a lot of fun. 1-0 never dies, though. So I'm excited to see the future and excited to see where the show goes from here, but it's been awesome. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks. I also want to say thank you to TJ for giving me the executive producer role in the first place. He made it all happen.
I guess I'll go next because this is my last 1-0 as well. I think 1-0 was the first TSTV thing I did. I came on here, did pick'ems, and it's kind of fitting that the last thing I'm doing on here is doing pick'ems. You know, I was just a shy kid, you know, from South Texas. I didn't know what I was doing. I'd never been in front of a camera before. I'd never, you know, talked sports like this. Again, shout out to TJ for letting me come on air while he was the EP, and, you know, I kind of blossomed after that. And then after my 1-0 appearances, I started going on College Crossfire, College Press Box, and then all that experience cumulated into me being the sports director here in my final year. It's been a joy watching you guys from afar. I know I take Fridays as my sleep-in days, but I do see and I have noticed the growth that 1-0 has had throughout the entire semester. You both have done a really great job. I really appreciate y'all for holding it down, and I can't wait to see, who's going to hold it down next year.
Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the only one here who's not leaving, which sucks actually. But I want to know was the first thing I ever did at TSTV, and I'm grateful for what I've been able to do here. I'm grateful to Santi, who came back for year 2. I know we were looking for another executive producer, and we were like, just do it again.
Yeah.
And I think we've killed it. I think it's been a really fun journey. I love 1-0. I love waking up on Friday mornings and just kind of sitting here and just casually talking about sports. It's one of my favorite things to do anyways. Might as well do it on camera.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful to everyone who started coming really regularly. We've had a crew of people who come every Friday morning now, which is great because last year we did not. There are times where it was literally just us two, and like the guests, maybe there were guests. So
we've had episodes that had 3 people, and so
we've had people
running back and forth doing all of the track. Yeah,
it got rough for a little bit, but we've had a good time. I appreciate everyone here for letting me kind of be a part of it.
Kind of speaking of that, I always remember all the times plugging in the microphone into the Snake right here, just guessing, trying to get the inputs, like pasting the stream code into the vMix, trying to figure out the TriCaster, all that stuff. The troubleshooting, that's what really makes 1-0 1-0.
1-0 is 1-0 because everything goes wrong.
Yeah. Well, all right. It's been a pleasure. For Santiago Ortiz, Gabriel Silva, and Tyler Strempel signing off. We'll see you guys next semester with a brand new face of the 1-0 Sports Show. Have a good summer.